Remember a definitive bump-like scar on his chest. He told me all kinds of secrets. He told me he was almost deaf from his time in the military. He told me he served in the Persian Gulf War. When I finally got home, I did not tell my parents anything, but I thought I had feelings for him. So you guys may have heard that Kamala Harris is talking about going on the Joe Rogan podcast. And that is hilarious because if she does do that, in a floundering, desperate move, which would be the only reason that she would do this, right? Trump's going to go on? If Trump's going to go on, then I need to go on too. Hey, sweetheart, let me ask you a question. Do you think Rogan wants you to win? Okay. You think Rogan wants you to win? So do you think that Rogan is going to give you favorable treatment in the interview? Because what we're going to do during this, this little, number that I'm putting together right now is we're going to go through a handful of things that Joe will ask her about that she will have absolutely none ability to respond to. We've all seen how she handles being put on the spot. Okay, so we're just going to go through a handful of issues and we're going to get to imagine our brain bank. Like, Joe will ask her this. What do you think she's going to say to that? Okay, what's her response going to be to pick an example at random? Kamala 2020 campaign staffer says she never saw campaign staff treated so poorly. Literally, I have a bunch of these. I just randomly picked on a tab. Okay. Oh, what about I don't know. How about this little number? Kamala Harris campaign still mandating employees take the jab. Oh my God. So we're going to go through a bunch of those. And then we're going to talk about Tim Walz. Because I don't know if you guys have heard, but there have been some pretty concerning accusations thrown in the direction of Tim Walz. And I have seen some posts about the person who put them out there. And to be clear, the accusations that we're talking about are of the type where someone brings a teenage boy to a concert alone, and the boy is feeling woozy, falls asleep, and wakes up somewhere he doesn't really know where he is with someone's face in his, okay, described in very, 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 very graphic, disgusting fashion. Okay. Now, normally I would be like, prove it. Give me some kind of evidence. And they're like, okay, we will. We'll give you some evidence. Because guess what? Some of the evidence lines up, right? Things that this person said and checked up against. It's like, oh, that really did happen. So we're going to go through those. Now, I think I should say right out of the gate that this is a campaign that is in absolute total free fall, right? Total free fall, collapsing in front of our eyes. It's at the point now where you're almost asking, like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? Like, seriously, what are they doing? Why is the mainstream media allowing this to happen? Like, all of them are basically saying this is falling apart. I will tell you what I think about why they're doing this. Okay. And I normally what my answer would be like, I think I'm being overly optimistic, but I think I'm actually right. I mean, I'll just tell you right now. I think that the margin of the true polls right now is so astronomical that I think they are coming to terms with the fact that they can't win. Like they can't win, like they literally can't win no matter what they do. And they need to try to maintain some kind of credibility as a source of information that people will come to. And so if they're like, it's so close, and then, Trump wins 49-0 in the States, something like that. But we're going to talk all about that, right? If you have not subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate it. That's all I ask. If you watch my content, I just ask that you subscribe. And by the way, it's also very important that you subscribe if you want to see my content, okay? Like any kind of video like this is 95% subscribers watching it, 5% not. It is not being shown to anyone that is not subscribed to my channel. So if you got here, you are in a very, very small group that somehow randomly got suggested this video. Now, I would assume once the election is over, that'll probably change. But for now, if you want to see anything that I do, you have to be subscribed. I'm telling you that right now. So click subscribe if you want, and we'll rock and roll. Also, want to thank the sponsor of this video, Yo Kratom. If you're a Kratom user, every day, $60 kilograms. It is the cheapest source on the internet, and the quality is top notch. I use Yo Kratom personally, and that's a fact. All right, so let's get right into it, and let's start right here. So Kamala Harris campaigning talks with Joe Rogan about possible podcast interview. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here, right? Jamie, can you pull up the montage of taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and migrants? Like, this is what I'm saying. When you have a record like hers and Biden's, you can't go on Rogan. Do you not understand that? You cannot go on Rogan because their side relies on people's willful ignorance not to see what is actually going on. Okay, because like you have two groups of people on the left, in my opinion. All right. Well, I mean, you have lots of different groups, but you have two groups primarily. One are people who have been duped into hating Trump so much that they are not even able to see anything else. Okay. I keep coming back to Destiny because he is the perfect example of that. I listened to him talk on these other things. Like, I wasn't even interested in this fucking guy until I called him out because of the firefighter. Then we did the show and I started watching and I listened to him talk on every single other topic. And I'm like, this guy is brilliant. Like, he is a brilliant person. How can he be so overwhelmed with how much he dislikes Trump that it just breaks every single other logical argument that he has? It's like, dude, do you really think that taxpayers should be paying for migrants' sex changes? That makes sense to you? Of course it doesn't. He would shit down their throat for that. You think that they should be paying for sex changes for prisoners? A guy murders his family. He goes into state prison and he's like, hey, I need a sex change and we should pay for that? Of course he wouldn't defend that. Right? So like, it's like you have smart people who are brainwashed to hate Trump. My parents fall into that exact category also. Okay? He's in good company as far as my, situation is concerned. But then you also have people who are actually fucking crazy, like people who would defend a thing like this, right? People who defend a thing like this. And when it comes to the broader spectrum of what the Democrats have done in the recent years, all you got to do is just keep coming back to this, dude. Okay? If you're going to tell me that you think that you can lock down the entire country, tell every small business owner in the country that they cannot run their business, put them in the poorhouse, run them into bankruptcy, okay, destroy their lives, and expect to maintain any kind of advantage in the polls. Like, I don't believe you. You guys, like, there's no, you can't just directly point to a specific policy that one side stood for where there's no ambiguity. There's no reason someone needs to be able to understand complex things about how we govern in order to understand that straight up. You guys want the two-party system, right? Okay, well, you have one party here and you have one party here. Okay, this party is saying, you can't force them to close their businesses. Okay, these people need to pay their bills. This is not what the government does. You are not in a position to do that. Unless there's an Ebola outbreak where everyone is dying day to day, you can't do this. You can't do this. And the other side is like, no, actually, we can. We can. And the end, actually, we can. We will put them in the poorhouse for the greater good. And it's like, yeah, but it's not the greater good. Like, it's just so direct line, straight arrow. They did this. That's what happened. Okay. And all these other ones, it's kind of like, well, the Republicans cut funding to blah, blah, blah. And then this, like, even in like this situation with the FEMA thing, right? Where it's like, you guys understand that the Democrats have been, unwinding all of these policies that Trump had at the border. Now you had a migrant crisis and they are directly telling you in open forum, they don't have money in the FEMA account in order to pay for these hurricanes that just came because they paid all that money to the migrant crisis. Be specific when you say you paid all that money. What exactly did you do? Because we know they're all getting money, right? Like, we've heard all about this, that they're getting, they go in and they get this and they get that. Like, they are getting money. They're getting put up in these apartment complexes. Where do you think that money comes from? Now, again, perfect example. I don't even know if a lot of that comes from FEMA. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And if I don't know, most people don't know, right? But I mean, they're just saying openly, like, yeah, FEMA's out of money because we spent all of it on the migrant crisis. Well, we know whose fault that is. But it's still not exactly the same as, like, my family put on the streets. You people did that to me, okay? So of course you're going to lose a gigantic portion, not only just the voters that would have voted for you, but you're going to get passionate people who are going to light you up for that. You want to see what it's going to be like if Kamala goes on Rogan? I'll give it to you from this intro from one of my videos that I did 8 months ago. Watch this. This is exactly what it's going to be like. Ready? Imagine Kamala Harris is on the other side of the chair.
And they're affecting these people that have worked their whole lives for 20, 30 years. And it's such a selfish, shitty, fucked up way to run a city. And a selfish, fucked up way to run a country.
Let's actually watch a little bit more of that. And just again, imagine that Kamala Harris has to answer to this.
How can they close down?
Think about the impact of you can't have any business for 3 years. No business. It's over. I mean, Tony Hinchcliffe's dad lost his restaurant. Tony Hinchcliffe's dad had a restaurant in Youngstown, Ohio for like 25 fucking years. And he couldn't, he's getting by. He was getting by. He's doing well, getting by, making money, good restaurant, like real Italian food. Fucking goes under. It's like, God damn it.
I'm going to just stop real quick right here to just point out. Yeah, I'm going to lose my shit again thinking about it right now, actually. That is my absolute fucking fork in the light socket, smoke out of my ears. If you've watched this channel for a long time and you've never seen me completely lose my fucking shit, that is what you're curious. Why is he Jesse on fire? Like what's he referencing? It's like, let's talk about that, dude. Let's talk about people who worked their entire lives building something to have people like those criminal. Anyway, so Rogan's like me, okay? Rogan and I have a lot in common when it comes to how we view the world. I think the reason he and I agree on most things is because at least I, and what I see in him is that we're very, very emotionally empathetic with people, okay? I know what it's like to put your life into something. I don't know what it's like to put my life into a business, like one business for 25 years, one building. You come to one building, your whole life is built around one building. Actually, you know what? I do know what that would be like because it would be like this channel, except in 20 more years. And honestly, my own emotional reaction thinking about someone with a restaurant makes me more mad than even myself losing something. There's something about like a person who's just, they're not trying to do something global. They're not trying to do something huge. They're just trying to do their own thing. They're trying to get by in this world. They've chosen a path. They put everything they have into it. If their son is not Tony Hinchcliffe, what do they do? Like, what do they do? You destroyed their lives. Do you have any idea how many people probably ate a bullet at the end of that? Because they had nothing left and they had no one they could call. They didn't have any lifelines. You have any idea how many people hit a level of despair where they finished themselves off because of people like her and her little compadre of, that's not a word, her cadre of corrupt, selfish trash bags. If she goes on Rogan's show, he's going to stick his hand inside of her and just rip her guts out through her esophagus. That's what's going to happen. I will absolutely guarantee that. You think he's going to let her out of there without answering those questions? He's not going to be a prick about it because, she's going to go in there and like he's not a rude guy. He is going to eat her alive. She can't answer anything on the spot, Like, to give you another example, I don't know, how about this? How about this? Hey, where'd you sit on these, Kamala? Right? And why are you still doing this? You're still making your employees take boosters? Why don't you walk me through your thought process on that? Or how this, like, what do you think's different this time? Right? Like, this time, in 2020 you were running and you pulled 3%. How do you feel about this? You're defending democracy. It's all about you guys. You guys are just, oh my God, Trump's a threat to democracy. You waited till after the primary and then you undermined Joe Biden, pushed him out. shoved you into there. Hey, maybe there's a reason you should do primaries given that you were running at 3% in 2020, barely, and now your campaign is imploding. It's almost like the democratic process works, you know? Calling out Kamala Harris's record as a draconian prosecutor isn't a distortion. Right, exactly. Exactly. You know why? Because right now, look at this. Look at this racist nonsense, dude. Look at this. Like, oh, we're the racists? Like, so our side, we're the racists. In outreach to black men, Harris to vow to legalize weed. Are you seriously? That's your big go-to? Okay, black men. Like, just as a universal, how many black men are there in this country? Hey, we're trying to get black men. You know what we're going to do? We're going to legalize weed. Yeah, you know, because listen, and we don't need voter ID because these blacks in Brooklyn, they don't even know where the DMV is. They don't even have a computer. They don't even know what a laptop is. Remember that? The New York governor, the chick that they brought in after they ousted Andrew Cuomo. And then she fired all the healthcare workers. And then she was like, geez Louise, guys, voter ID? How could you racists require an ID when these blacks don't even know what an ID is? They don't even know what a computer is. They've never been to the DMV, for God's sake. You're all. Yes, okay, I'll tell you what. Find me a black person in your state that doesn't know what a laptop is. You fucking racist psycho. What are you talking about? Just because you call someone racist doesn't make it so. But you thinking that black people don't know what computers are, that is racist, okay? I will directly tell you that to your face. You are a racist. You get the idea with that. Now let's move over to this story. Now, if you are not familiar with the black insurrectionist, this is a guy who has been putting out this story about an accuser of Tim Walz. Okay, let me tell you why I'm going to sound the way that I sound. I have a feeling this story is going to get, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is going to be like intentionally, right? By the powers that be. So I want to try to talk around it if I can. But the candidate who is under Kamala Harris has been accused of doing inappropriate things, like the most inappropriate things you can do, with a teenage boy who is now grown up, okay? So I am going to basically direct you to here after this, okay? But I'm going to read you three different things actually. Okay, so these are the emails that supposedly were sent to this reporter from the accuser. We're going to go through these. I have no information that verifies or does not verify these. Bottom line, these are the accusations though. And this guy, the reason why I'll send you to his account afterwards is because you can for yourself read all of these and tell me what you think, okay? So, dear Doc, thanks for the call. I will lay out in detail what has happened to me. I was 14 years old when I met him, okay? Like many normal kids, I was very confused about many things. My emotions were that of a typical teenager. Jim and Gwen Baltz befriended me. I was a loner. They made me feel special. He started telling me secrets about himself. He told me I could trust him with anything. I was very shy and having difficulty. He extended an invitation to me to go to a concert in March of 1995. When we got to the concert, it was just him and me. The concert was Indigo Girls. The wife was supposed to be there with him, by the way. The concert was Indigo Girls. I knew nothing about. During the concert, he started to explain to me that the meaning behind the meaning behind the lyrics. He started explaining to me that I was gay. The entire time he was explaining to me that I was gay, he was rubbing my back and down in what I thought was a comforting gesture. Okay. Then the next thing I know, I remember feeling tired, overwhelmingly tired. The rest of the night, I am not comfortable telling you right now. I am going to put it in a letter. It is difficult for me right now. I understand. And then he responded back. He said, I understand how difficult this must be. And then he asked him a bunch of questions. Okay. So that was the first interaction, right? And then that's what he sent back. Here is the response, which is like, okay, here you go. Here is what happened. Buckle up, okay? Now, apparently, he talked to him on the phone, and the on the phone conversation was 100 times more graphic than this, but this should be plenty, dude. Okay? So this is the guy accusing Jim. Here's my story, Doc. During the concert, I became extremely tired. I don't know if it was the alcohol. I don't know if it was something put in the alcohol, but I remember dancing with Jim. We were slow dancing. I remember his hands being inside my pants a little. He was telling me that it was natural. He was telling me that it was okay. After the concert, Gwen was not to be found. Jim said he would take me home, but we would stop off to get something to eat. Being 14 years old, I thought this meant McDonald's. To be honest, I thought I was having a great time. I thought I was beginning to think that I was gay. When we stopped to get food, it was a tavern. I didn't realize till I was older that it was actually a gay bar. There were only a couple women in the entire place, but they were really not women. I don't remember how long we were there. I don't remember the drive home at all. The next thing I remembered, I was naked in the home of Jim. He was giving me that, okay? I remember it only took seconds, maybe a minute for me to finish. I thought this meant I was gay. I thought this meant I really was gay. I did not understand it was just a physical reaction. I remember being upset. I thought the wife would walk in. He told me not to worry about her. He told me the wife would not disturb us. He kept reassuring me that everything was okay, that this was normal, and he was helping me see that I was gay. The next morning, I woke up on their couch. Gwen was there. They made me breakfast, and they acted like nothing happened at all. He took me home. I honestly thought I had feelings for him. I thought he was showing me life. I remember feeling so confused, yet so free. I thought this was part of becoming a man. I remember a definitive bump-like scar on his chest. He told me all kinds of secrets. He told me he was almost deaf from his time in the military. He told me he served in the Persian Gulf War. When I finally got home, I did not tell my parents anything, but I thought I had feelings for him. He told me many secrets about himself, at least. I thought they were secrets. He told me that he was bi. He explained what that meant. I would continually see him during 1995. I spent a lot of time with him whenever I could. I can't remember the exact date, but I moved to another county in summer of 1995. My parents were becoming suspect in September of 95. He came to see me. We were drinking. We had gone out that night. We got into an argument when I found out he had planned on taking students to another Indigo Girls concert. On that night, he left very angry. That is the night he got pulled over drunk driving. He called me and told me what had happened. He told me he was going to be fired from his football job. At this time, I was in a different school district. This is when I started to learn I was not, in fact, gay. This is when I began to know I liked girls. We did not talk very often during 96, but my parents had called the school board and made a complaint. I would never admit to my parents what happened, but they told the school board they had suspicions of a relationship between me and him. We probably had 10 to 12 sexual encounters. Now I have to stop. I understand you need more details. I will give them. This is enough for now. Take care. So that is the story that this person is putting out there. So this is all going on at the same time that the Harris campaign is imploding before our eyes. But like I said, I would encourage you to go to that account and go take a look for yourself because, things are not looking good. Okay. I'm not going to say whether or not I believe. Well, I mean, what's the right way to put this? I don't have enough information to know whether I believe it, but I will certainly say that when I look at that guy, the one that's running, to say that my instincts tell me that he's a person who would not do a thing like this, that's not at all. He is exactly the kind of person that I would believe did a thing like this. Now, it doesn't mean he did it, but there are plenty, most people, I'd be like, come on, dude. He's not one of those people. Anyway, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Bye-bye.